it depends on shifting priorities. I can tell you we woefully underfund border security right now. Now, you can look at the uptick in the young children who came here in August and recognize that those types of humanitarian resources just spiked this year as compared to last year. And that goes to the ability of Congress and the President to have great discretion to be able to respond to crisis, whether it be an international crisis or domestic crisis.
Earlier you mentioned equality of the law in terms of immigration. So would the stand on Cuban immigration change and become more comprehensive, or would it stay with the same political, religious refugee status as it has now, regardless of like changes in political climate?
Okay, ask the question one more time.
So in terms of like equality under immigration laws, would the stance on Cuban immigration change and become more equal to every other country, or just stay the same?
So specifically on Cuba? So, okay, I got it. So this goes to Cuban policy. Again, listen, I'm somebody who says we need to find a third way, okay? And that applies to so many issues that we face, because the doctrines of 50 years ago sometimes need to be revisited. I believe that includes our Cuba policy. But I will tell you this, and this is where I get very frustrated, because people subscribe to one camp or the other, and it's deeply rooted in some type of historic belief or teachings that they received, and it never evolves. I believe we need a better Cuba policy because I believe it constitutes an asymmetric threat to our national security, because the longer we ignore it, China and Russia continue to increase their presence there. And frankly, you can have 10 guys from ISIS embed themselves in Cuba 90 miles off our shore waiting to kill 10,000 people in the state of Florida. I think it's a matter of national security, and we need to be able to improve our human capital of intelligence in Cuba. Now, here's where I say we have to dispense with the two sides being one or the other. Because Castro is a bad person who has limited freedom and imprisoned people who disagree with him politically. And we cannot be apologists for Castro in reconsidering what our Cuban policy has to be. Great example. Why is a Cuban with $1 million able to come to the United States freely, but if you're a baseball player, you have to stay in your hotel room in Baltimore under armed guard because Castro's not going to let you leave? That's a policy that we have to insist on some type of reform from the Castro regime. I think we can do better, we should do better, but in doing so, we have to recognize that the Cuban regime has to come a little ways as well. You know, there's an activist in Tampa that I occasionally speak with about this issue, because I genuinely want to find how we get to a point that is better for our own national security for the United States. And he talks about the fact that the United States spends over $1 million a year on Radio Free Cuba or Radio Marti that is a pro-democracy message, but nobody in Cuba can hear it, and so it's a waste of U.S. taxpayer dollars. Well, that again forgives any notion of the fact that the Castro regime blocks pro-democracy messages from hitting the Cuban people. That's wrong. That's wrong. So it's not a matter of waste of dollars in the United States. Sure, the money's not being spent well, it's not being received, but we also have to hold the Cuban regime accountable for their limitations on personal freedom. An immigration case, a visa case, a humanitarian case, a refugee case should be the same regardless. That includes people coming from Cuba. If they have a refugee, humanitarian, healthcare case that they can make, then we should treat them just like anybody else. Cuba occupies a special status because of the past 50 years and the fact that if you touch our shores, you're entitled to certain protections. I'm okay with that right now, but I think long term we need to re-engage with how we evolve our Cuba policy. Any other questions? Hey, thank you very much. I hope we have been able to have a constructive and academic conversation, and one that we recognize perhaps there's diverse views, but there are ways to work together on this. Know that our office is always open. Any issues that you might have that you're interested in talking to us about, our website is the best way to email us. It's jolly.house.gov. I think there's a click on an email link there. We have offices. The closest one here is on 4th Street north of 22nd Avenue. We have a St. Pete office in the TD Bank building. We also have one in the St. Pete College Seminole office, as well as one all the way North County if you ever find yourself up 19 by Countryside. But listen, I've appreciated the opportunity to be here. Know what I said earlier, I fundamentally believe we are one team as this community. My job is to make sure that everybody's views are represented, and as long as I can score that rightly with the convictions that I bring to the office, then we as a community are going to do this job and do this job every day and working very hard. Thank you very much for having me.